Hello there, and welcome back to another live stream on the channel. This is where the stream begins. Happy to be back here, guys, and streaming with you and talking about Maul Shadow Lord because that show is slapping for sure, man. I am really enjoying Maul Shadow Lord. I'm a big animation fan when it comes to Star Wars stuff, so it was definitely right up my alley. And I got to tell you, I have not been disappointed thus far. So really cool stuff. Looking forward to talking about the show a little bit, but more importantly, action figures that we want to see from the show, especially in the vintage collection, which so far, as some of you may know, we have gotten a couple figures. So definitely cool to actually have some stuff, in hand and actually watch the show. Nothing better than that, personally, in my opinion. But yeah, as I like to say, this is also
This is where the fun begins.
so yeah. Let's see who we got in the chat so far. Looks like we have Sci-Fi Dude up in here. We also have my Star Wars guys. What's up, Rob? Looks like, pretty small crowd thus far, but we'll see who else pops in and takes a look and see what they have to think about Maul as well. So happy to be here. Hey Rob, man, definitely happy to have you here too, dude. Really appreciate you. Yeah, so I don't know. I really liking the show. I don't know about you two. Definitely let me know some of your thoughts in the comments. I want to talk more about Maul. Um, at first, like thoughts, like man, the animation is so cool. I really love how they did some like interesting stuff in terms of like doing some brush strokes that they done by hand apparently, and then like bringing that in and digitizing it to give it that like really interesting look. It's like sharp but also gritty at the same time, which I can really appreciate. I like when art can kind of get like a little gritty, and I don't know, Star Wars in general has that like rundown, like lived in look, and I really like them bringing that aesthetic to like the clean animation style at the same time. So I've really been digging that. Also, something I really like about, animation in general is it doesn't have any restraints in terms of like the action. So like Maul is definitely slaughtering some people when it comes to like hallway scenes and stuff like that, which I just, you know, man, I can't get enough of that kind of stuff. Really cool. Um, I, let's just bring in one thing real quick. I just have to like show that that hallway scene, man. I've really been digging it. So good. Like no limitations there. I like just have to watch that again. It's just so good. I want to call that a Maulway scene. So it's like a hallway, but just let Maul go crazy. And he's had some before already, like in Clone Wars. So really cool to see him like, just handling business. Absolutely loving the show. See who else we got in the chat. We have Jeff Russell in here. What's up? We also have Riley Bob. Let me get back in the swing of live streaming. I forgot I can show your comments, guys. The show feels more cinematic than anything outside of Andor for Star Wars in a long time. Yeah, for sure. I really think it has some beautiful cinematography. And like I said, that hallway scene is just absolutely magnificent. And that's something I just really like about Star Wars animation. Again, like it doesn't really have any constraints in terms of like what they can do with the action. So I think that lends itself very well when it comes to like Star Wars and especially just like lightsaber stuff. Who else we have in the chat? Kurt 6592. This show is phenomenal. So psyched to get more and more figures too. Couldn't agree more. Like I was saying a couple minutes ago, really happy to have some figures in hand. Like I just got the 11th brother out of the packaging, and this figure is awesome. We can talk about him a little bit more in a second, but yeah, really happy to have that one. We have Marak, we have Maul. Happy to have figures, man. Like definitely really helps when you're like watching a show and just having a good time. Baymax77, what's up? Glad you're live streaming. What you want to be the next wave of Mando and Grogu figures to be? Ooh, interesting. I haven't put much thought into that yet, but if I had to pick three characters right now that I want from Mando and Grogu, it's definitely Zeb because I want Zeb in that like flight suit look, or even that like kind of like jacket look that he has in that hallway scene. But I prefer to have him in that flight suit because I think that looks really cool. Definitely want Zeb. Definitely want. I kind of want that Imperial like warlord guy with like the fur like on his like back or whatever. I think he looks kind of cool. And also like a heavier set Imperial officer could lend itself to like a couple more figures. And then of course I also want who else do I want? Dang, why am I having like such a blank right now with her name? I want Space Ripley. I want Star Wars Ripley. Dang, what is her name? Why am I having such a blank right now? That's so embarrassing. But yes, I want her because the Black Series also got her, and dude, gonna need her in TVC. But yeah, if I had to guess or like pick 3 figures right now, it's definitely those 3. Who else do we have in here? I like how different it looks from Clone Wars, Rebels, and Tales. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree, Sci-Fi Dude. Like I was saying, I think it's a nice like new direction to be going in terms of the animation and just making it kind of gritty and also like very adult, if you will. That's another thing about the show. It's dark. It's very dark, which is nice for, a dark side user, ex Sith, and just like a troubled time with the Empire rising, like the dark side's just taking over, like total chaos. So I think I really like that as well. So yeah, man, totally agree. I want the 2 Knight Brothers and Rookcast and Spybot. Yep, yep, I agree. We're gonna take a look at some of these figures and just or the characters in just a second. Yakface says Zeb is hitting ports already. Ooh, interesting. I was actually thinking about that a couple minutes ago before getting on stream. Just like, I wonder if we're gonna see a reveal or 2 while the Maul show is going on. I think that would be smart. It already has a lot of hype, and I don't think it would be bad, showing new merchandise while the show is on and while we have merchandise. Colonel Ward. Yep. Cool, cool. Oh, yeah. Embo. Yeah, we could use a good Embo. I made a custom out of the Clone Wars one and like the Sizzler Luke from like The Mandalorian. Like I took his legs and kind of painted them up and made a kit bash that way. But yeah, I think we need a proper Embo. Rado would be pretty awesome. I feel like I don't know how likely that would be, but I think Rado would be cool. I've been waiting for more Star Wars Underworld content for a long while. So far, I am not disappointed. Yeah, man. I can't say enough good things about this show so far. I kind of wish Book of Boba Fett had a little bit more of this like grittier feel to it. I think they were trying to do that. They just didn't quite hit the mark. I didn't hate the show per se, but I think it could have been a little bit better for sure. And I feel like Maul is kind of like checking all those boxes for me. Yes. I mean, who doesn't want more Anzellans? At least we have one in the vintage collection so far. We got that one little accessory, but I'll take some more. And also another mouse droid for sure. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah. I don't really get any of those like non-collector lines, but I saw some stuff like at Target, I think they had the ATRT, like a kid version, which I thought was pretty interesting and cool. But yeah. Do you like slow crawl of episode release, or would you rather have them dump the whole series out? That's a good question. I could kind of go either way. I have no problem binge watching Star Wars when it comes to watching anything in general. I mean, I typically probably watch something Star Wars every night, to be honest. I've kind of like been watching a few other things recently. Like I went back and was watching Big Bang Theory a lot. But yeah, I have no problem binging Star Wars. So if they wanted to drop all the episodes, I would probably watch them all within a day, no problem. Um, I think it's a little less of a slow crawl right now. I kind of like them doing 2 episodes a week. I think that's not too bad. But yeah, I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? I could go either way, but yeah, I feel like maybe dumping it all at once could be overwhelming for some people, and maybe that's why they don't do it. If they did Aliens vintage, realistic, or show style, interesting. Are you talking about like Aliens, the like James Cameron Aliens? Because not sure what you're trying to say there. Oh, I want Rada. Yeah. I mean, Rada's gonna be cool for sure. I'm excited to see him like kick some ass. Ooh, interesting. I didn't see that, but interesting. Man, a Rada 6-inch figure would be huge. Be like a small dog. I imagine like the TBC one would be, similar to the Jabba we have, but I feel like, yeah, a 6-inch one would be ridiculous. This is the Underworld series that Book of Boba Fett teased and failed miserably. Ugh, yeah, man. It's like if you put those Vespa kids in this show, they'd be dead within the first 5 minutes, or somehow I think one of them crashed towards the end of the show or something like that, was quote unquote hurt. But yeah, those kids, there's no way they're taking out Pikes. I don't know. I just couldn't believe those kids. Yeah. That's a good thing they should maybe explore, an animated Fett series. I think that could be cool. Do you think we'll get new TVC characters from what's MSL? I'm not sure what MSL is, man. You're gonna have to spell it out for me. Word. Yeah, I kind of feel like 2 weeks or 2 shows a week is not bad. Aliens in the mall. Oh, in the mall show. I would like to get some aliens from the mall show, and I'm gonna bring up some characters in a second. I have like a whole like presentation of some stuff, but yeah, definitely. I'm always here for more aliens. I mean, it's Star Wars, man. Aliens are a big part of Star Wars. I like the slow episode trickle. My attention span is shot lately, so focusing on 2 a week is just right. Yeah, I can feel that. I mean, I've personally been going through a lot of stuff. It's been really hard to, like, stay motivated per se. As I've mentioned to, like, a couple of you guys, like, either in chats or, like, in videos or, like, updates. I don't know, I've just been going through a lot of personal stuff over the last, like, couple months. So finding time to, like, I don't know, watch Star Wars has been still possible, but, like, I just haven't been doing as much, like, photography sometimes and just, like, I don't know, focusing on some other stuff like journaling and a lot of, like, self-help stuff and just, like, trying to get myself my, like, feet and, like, find my roots again, so I can understand with attention span. I feel really, like, kind of pulled in multiple directions lately, so I've been trying to, like, focus again and get a little bit back into, like, doing reviews, doing other stuff too, like going to the gym, stay motivated to give me energy to like do reviews and also try to get back in front of the camera and stuff. So yeah, I mean, everyone's got like pretty busy lives too. So I feel like it's hard to find the time that some of us have when we're like extremely passionate about Star Wars and can just like binge a show where not everyone can just do that. Oh, Maul Shadow Lord, duh. Come on, man. um, thanks, dude. I obviously I'm a little tired. I love the Pikes from the Book of Boba Fett. They just needed another season to move that story plot forward. I agree. I think they need another season. I think they should revisit it, and I think that if they add a little bit more grittiness to it, I think it could be well received. Finger crossed that Hasbro gives us another mall wave since they already signed season 2. Give me Master Eco, Two Boots, Lawson, Ludi are my front runners. Obviously want them all. Yeah, man. I can't disagree with that. Let me get ready to kind of bring up this slide of stuff that I have going on. All right, because we should definitely get into some of the stuff I want to talk about, which is figures we want. All right. So, like you said, man, definitely some really good characters so far in the show, given we've only had like 2 episodes. They've also showed a couple things in like the teasers and stuff. But yeah, figures we want. I wanted to talk about this because I feel like I've never done anything like right after like a show or movie or whatever. And I kind of just want to like, show some figures that I think would be pretty cool and definitely like see what you guys are thinking too in terms of like the show, how it's being received, and what characters, you think are like the strongest, like characters that shine the most from the show to make good action figures. So definitely some really good material so far in this like underworld, like seediness of Maul. And yeah, let's take a look. So one thing I wanted to talk about too was the figures that we have. I feel like this is one of the first times that we actually had the figures in hand, like a good amount, more than just one that we can actually have and enjoy the show. The other thing I wanted to like note is this is the first time we have like the bad guys too from the show. Seems like Hasbro always has a little bit of an issue getting us the villains. I don't know why, but it always seems to like be something we have to ask for. So like Balin and Shin, we never got them right up front when it comes to Ahsoka. We got Morgan Elspeth, who is a villain, but honestly, if you were like to choose Morgan Elsbeth versus Balin, I feel like Balin is definitely like the much more badass like villain. I would want Balin first. So I feel like we had to like make a lot of noise to get Balin and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just weird how there's still like a bunch of missing like villains we don't have, like Dryden Voss. We're missing the client from season one of The Mandalorian. The list, kind of goes on and stuff. But yeah, so far we have Marok, we have Maul, thanks to the incredible Clone Wars Maul that we got a couple years ago. Love that sculpt. Just really love that portrait of Maul. He is just absolutely perfect. I can't wait for them to do a Phantom Menace version and just like put that head on there and give us like a nice, modern, definitive, fully articulated Phantom Menace Maul. That's going to be so cool. I will say, this Maul is a little bit dated when it comes to the articulation, but it's still so incredibly good. Like the one thing it's missing is the barbell hips, of course. But other than that, the figure is rather perfect. I know some people kind of were like saying in my review they wish they would have updated the hips, which would have been cool. I definitely think he would benefit for that just because Maul, kind of like one of those main badasses, so he needs all the articulation, the most modern stuff. But I don't know, they would have had to invest in that little crotch piece and stuff like that, and that just seems like I don't know if we're picking and choosing sometimes. Like I don't want that like one tiny bit of tooling right there that updates Maul to like maybe not get us 11th brother or something like that. I think that would suck, but I don't know. It kind of is what it is. I was thinking about maybe seeing if I could like, I don't know, modify this myself or swap out the crotch piece. But this is one of those crotch pieces that like is more than just a crotch piece. It starts to go up into the abdomen or whatever. So I can't just swap it out for like a regular crotch piece that has the barbells right now. But I don't know. I was kind of looking at that earlier and thinking about how I could maybe modify it. But yeah, 11th brother, Marok, awesome that we finally got these characters in the vintage collection, just more Inquisitors in general, and just having a lineup of villains from the show is pretty cool in my opinion. So definitely pretty happy about that. Moving on to figures that we want to see. So of course, Iko Diodaki, pretty cool. I love the look of this little dude. He is so critter-like. He's just wearing this hood, walking around with his walking stick, and just like look at that face. Something about him just like is really enjoyable for me. He brings a lot of joy. So far he's not done a ton in the show. He looks cool. He's like mysterious. He has done some like force push, like holding that bridge up, which was pretty neat. I'm really excited to see like more action from him in the show. But yeah, I think he would be an essential figure, to be honest, when it comes to this show, because he is going to be the master of the fallen apprentice. So probably need this figure. My worry about this one is, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, is that Hasbro might just kind of like wait on this one for a minute, probably because he's like pretty small. And I feel like we haven't seen a small figure since like Queel. And sometimes I feel like when the smaller the figure is, or like, sometimes females have like the thinner wrist and stuff like that, there's like a hesitance to like engineer or like, figure out the tooling technology behind it. And then in terms of like his reuse, because he's so small, like what else could they reuse him for? So maybe that's going to take a little bit of noise from the community, to be honest, to get this guy. I personally don't think we should have to do that. There shouldn't be like years and years of like, fan polling just to get like a character from Maul Shadow Lord. I expect, to see this character, and I hope we're going to see this character. But yeah, not sure like how they could reuse those legs for something. Maybe I think he's a little taller than the Jawa, but they could update the Jawa and like give us like a proper, Jawa. Even like I don't know how tall he is again, but like those legs are kind of like sort of the wrappings you kind of see on young Anakin from like the Phantom Menace. So I don't know if they want to get creative with it and like he doesn't look 100% like that or something. I don't know. I just need this figure, and I'm really worried that they won't deliver this one. But yeah, like I said, Masters of the Fallen Apprentice definitely need this guy in our collections. Real quick with the chat. What's up, man? Good to see you here. Always love having you around. We also have Hal Runner in the chat. A cloak would have been nice. Yeah, I agree from Maul. That cloak would have been ideal. Like I said, the tooling investment, sure. I'm cool with them not doing that, but like a cloak, come on. We deserve to get the cloak. It can't be that big of an investment. Maybe it is, but like heck, even if they would have wanted to put like light cruiser Luke's like cloak on him, I would have been happy with that at some point. I mean, they should give him the proper cloak, but come on, man. Like I just don't know sometimes when it comes to Hasbro and some of these things they leave out. But yeah. Yep. For sure, man. I think everyone's general consensus is where is that cloak? Where is that cloak? Yeah. I think that's another general consensus is that's the next Maul we definitely need to see is that Phantom Menace version. I mean, it's the first time we saw Maul and probably some of his best performance. Yeah, so I definitely want that one as well. Yeah, see, everyone is just like bummed on this lack of cloak, and with good reason. Hasbro, don't do stuff like this. Include the cloak for the love of the force. It will definitely make people happier. They'll make people like, appreciate your efforts. It really goes a long way. Hey man, what's going on, Peak Obi-Wan? The TK has to happen at this point. We need a new troop builder. Yes, totally agree. I only put characters thus far from like episodes 1 and 2, but I know we're gonna see the TK troopers at some point. Totally agree. Loved seeing them in the Bad Batch. Love seeing like that design just make it into like, more Star Wars stuff. And I definitely want that one as a troop builder. I think it would be cool. Yeah, man. He's what's not to love about that guy? Look, had to go back. Like just look at this little dude. He's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, I can't get enough of him. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Really odd when it comes to soft goods in the last couple weeks. Yeah, those TBS releases are very strange to say the least. Maybe that's where the budget went for soft goods in the last couple weeks, but come on, man, give us that cloak. Yeah, I think so too. I thought that was really cool. Just loving the action so far in this show. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if, the Black Series is gonna get that figure. I'm hoping that, they can keep the scales pretty balanced and, do one for ones. I think that would be very helpful for just overall community morale and stuff like that. And yeah, I think everyone deserves to get what they want in their collections, whether it's 6-inch or vintage collection, which is what I collect primarily. I don't collect any Black Series and I have no real desire to. So like for me, if they were to release this only in the Black Series, I'd be bummed because my collection is then incomplete and I collect 375 TVC. But yeah, moving on. Got to talk about Devon. Really cool. Already has the figure in the Black Series. So again, I'm feeling a little bit hurt here, Hasbro. I want to see this figure too. I hope you're not like holding off because she's a little smaller. She might have small wrist, or maybe trying to figure out the articulation or whatever. But like gonna need this figure regardless. So make it happen like hopefully soon. Maybe announce her this week, next week. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, love seeing more Twi'leks. I think they've been doing really cool stuff recently with Twi'leks. Hera has been up front and center with like a lot of different stuff going on recently. Loved her in Rebels. Love seeing, a live action badass like Hera handle business in Ahsoka. Looking forward to more of that. And now we're getting Devon in an animated series. Really interesting. Love seeing what's going on here. I already love like her character kind of like it's already having a little bit like of problems with her master in terms of like, what she sees is like proper. For her, she's willing to bend the rules, kind of like Anakin, and not go by this like dogmatic view that the Jedi have and stuff like that. steal some food to like at least not die and starve to death, whereas he's kind of just like, yeah, I'm gonna keep begging for food in this like seedy town that really doesn't seem to care about him. No one's being nice and offering them anything. So I thought that was really interesting to kind of see that divide and just see already like like, you know, setting up the foundation for her to definitely go to the dark side. So really, really interesting here. I also thought it was interesting because like kind of reminded me of Ezra a little bit. And like, Ezra before he like went down his like Jedi path and like met the Rebels crew was definitely like, stealing and doing his best to like get by on Lothal. And then, of course, later down the road, when he does learn the way of the Jedi and stuff like that, Maul does try to corrupt him. And, he makes like valid points where he's like, oh, interesting, like, yeah, like I can see both ways. So I thought it was interesting to have two different young like characters who are force sensitive or whatever, who are in the streets stealing food, and then Maul will come across them later and kind of like try to twist their minds. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, again, really cool character design. I don't think I've seen a Twilight that I didn't think was cool. I'm hoping like when we get this figure that it can be soft goods. I'm pretty sure the Black Series one, it's like the soft plastic, right? For the cloak or whatever. But yeah, I wouldn't mind soft goods just because I feel like it wouldn't hinder her articulation as much. But yeah, um, I can never get enough of like characters with lightsabers. I think all of us can kind of agree that lightsabers are pretty amazing. So getting this character would be pretty rad. And then next up, a character that I've kind of wanted for quite a bit, Rook Cast. Now, I love Mandalorians. I think Rook Cast was also really amazing to see like come back from the shadows because she was in like the Clone Wars. She was a Maul loyalist. She's been on like March Madness a couple times already. Just a cool character design. And I personally think we need more like female Mandalorian figures. We only really have like what Casca, Bo-Katan, and Sabine. So getting something like this would be cool. Maybe they can do like a troop builder. Like take a look at this other female Mandalorian right here, this Maul loyalist. I think something like that would be cool. Like their armor is very, very similar. So like this could be something that they could leverage for multiple releases with from Rookcast like down the road. Again, you can see this character back here, also very similar armor and stuff like that. So already potential for a troop builder here while also getting us like a main character. Not to mention like she just looks badass. And I have to also shout out Gar Saxon. He's been on a lot of my wish list. I think we still need Gar Saxon just to finish out that like Clone Wars Mandalore arc. Yeah, recast, man. Awesome to see her in the show. Can't wait to see like what else she's gonna be like doing in terms of like action and stuff like that. But thus far, been really happy to see her. Let's take a look what's going on in the chat. Always got to highlight that, man. 375 for life. Do you think we'll get more figures from Maul Shadow Lord? Well, I would hope so. And yes, I do think we're actually going to get a couple more figures. Maybe that's me just being wishful and hopeful, but I think we are. They've already done, effort to get us stuff out. I can't imagine them just cutting the cord. I think that would be very odd. I also think Hasbro is actually doing a decent job recently of kind of like hearing what we've been saying over the past couple years and trying to deliver stuff. Like we have been making noise in terms of like, hey, where are the Inquisitors? What's up? Why do we only have the Grand Inquisitor and Reva? Like, what's the deal? So I would not be surprised if they do give us some more figures. That was another thing that I personally said on other live streams and just like heard other people say is like they need to kind of get in the same room with like Lucasfilm ahead of these shows and get the designs, talk with them, and get product out. Not 4 months, 6 months after a show, because it takes a long time to do like the figure design and all that and and like fabrication and production. So like I think they actually have been doing a little bit better, it seems like, with like coordinating with Lucasfilm because like I said, we're getting figures for the show. We're getting figures for a movie, like The Mandalorian and Grogu. We have an ATRT already with a figure. Like our lineup so far of Mandalorian stuff has been pretty awesome in my opinion. So I don't know. The last like couple months have been interesting and surprising in my opinion, just because yeah, we're getting stuff before shows, before movies. Like that's amazing. It makes me feel like a kid again. Like when I got the sneak peek stat from episode 1, I thought that thing was so cool. So yeah, I think we will get more figures. Definitely leave like comments all around like social medias, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Like let them know that we want more characters. Let them know like your top 3 for sure that you want to see. Just keep like, beating that drum. Oh no. No comment. But you made me laugh. And I like that, Hal Runner was also amused. Devon is cool, but with the theory that she ends up being Darth Talon, I'd be okay waiting for her from the in final form for a figure. This look is very meh for me. Yeah, I can feel that. But at the same time, there's a lot of different characters who kind of evolve over time. So like we have multiple versions of like Sabine so far, Luke, of course, like we have millions of different Lukes. Well, not millions, but we have a lot of Lukes. So I wouldn't be upset, I guess, if we got this figure. Like I would like to have her light side and her fallen side. I think, that would be pretty appropriate. But I hear you too. Like if all things go according to like what some of us are thinking, that Darth Talon look is definitely going to be pretty cool. And obviously a figure that I think a lot of people would want. Yep. Yeah, yeah, we're not sure, like how her like outfit will change or whatever. And regardless, I do think they could use some more like tooling for like smaller characters and stuff like that. So the more characters they make, increase that like tooling library to let them kit bash stuff, the better. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, get more stuff out there, Hasbro. Increase that tooling library, do kit bashes, all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Also, Rookcast is voiced by Vanessa Marshall, Harrison Dula. Big fan of hers. I also just like when I first realized that she was Rookcast in Clone Wars, where she's just that one line she has where Maul is starting to sense that like the dark side's about to take over, and she's just like, "My lord, what does it mean?" The way that she delivers that line is just like so cool for some reason. So yeah, man, I'm a big fan. So I think Rookcast is definitely an absolute must have. And like I said, we could use a couple more female Mandalorians. Yeah, she's probably unfortunately at the bottom of the Inquisitor list when it comes to maybe my favorite. Yeah. I mean, she just didn't perform like an Inquisitor either. And that's the thing I was talking about early on in the stream in terms of like animation versus live action. The animated Inquisitors were, there was nothing holding them back. Full action, doing all sorts of stuff. Whereas, Revo really isn't bringing it with the lightsaber action, in my opinion. The Vader square off was like pretty good, but like it's not the same. It just doesn't hit the same. So I think that didn't really help her character kind of like shine. Also, with a second season announced, they should give us more. Hopefully, they won't make a Bad Batch mistake. Dude, you're telling me where is the Bad Batch? We got 2. Still waiting though. Still waiting. And see, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, like it sounds like we're gonna be getting like Zeb apparently pretty soon. But then there's things like we've been asking for, like the Bad Batch, man. Like, yeah, I really think they took some notes though. I do want to highlight this comment as well. Yeah. So like I really do think that Steve is trying to like course correct on some stuff, like in terms of, we only got one character from Skeleton Crew. We still only have like 2 members of the Bad Batch. I think they're realizing that that's not cool. And like it kind of, it hurts to be honest. Like it's not a good time. So I do think, they're giving hints that, they're trying to do more. Shows and figures. True that, man. True that. I bet most new tooling budget is going to Lucasfilm mandates for Mandalorian and Grogu and Maul Shadow Lord. While that's good for new media, it probably means our Bad Batch is getting punted down the road. Yeah, yeah, and then the constant catch up. That's the thing that kind of sucks. It was kind of nice, I feel like, to have a little bit of a break from like Star Wars media. I feel like it's been a little bit of time and it allowed Hasbro to maybe catch up. But at the same time, I think they were working in the background, like you said, for Mandalorian and Grogu and Maul Shadow Lord. Because I just have a feeling they knew Maul Shadow Lord was going to be pretty popular. So definitely had to get figures and merchandise out there for that animated show. Whereas like they didn't do that for like the Tales of shows or um I don't think Visions really was calling for a lot of like, merchandise and stuff like that. But you see what I'm saying. Steve just said on a recent post that they misjudged the popularity of the Bad Batch for TVC. He said they are coming. Interesting. Interesting. I will wait, Steve. I'm still waiting. I don't know how they could like misjudge that popularity. Like, first of all, clone craze started with like 375. Like, look at all the Clone Wars vehicles that we have from back in the day, turbo tanks, ATTEs, you name it. Clone like craze was definitely 375. So you would think they would be like, huh, a show about clones. You would think, oh, maybe the 375 guys really want some, like clone stuff. So I don't know how they could like misjudge that, but yeah, just saying. Yeah. Come on, man. And even look now that we got like the perfect clone trooper. Like let's bring in some of the like recent acquisitions real quick. Let me pull up my screen. So yeah, like this guy hasn't been updated since like the 30th anniversary collection. And granted, some people are saying, the helmet might be a little off or whatever, but like this clone mold has been so popular. Ever since we got this, they've been pumping it out. People have been pretty hyped on it. And I personally have been loving this clone mold. It is fantastic. Really happy to finally have some Revenge of the Sith stuff too, man. Like, yeah. So I don't know, Steve. I can see you guys maybe like missing that or like whoever was in charge missing that, but yeah, clones. Come on. Come on. Let's get back into this. All right. So moving on. Rookcast. Definitely love this figure or a character. I hope we can get her. I do think it's interesting, like her armor kind of changed a little bit. So like as you can see, it's got this like orange triangle, and then they like made it a little bit more almost like live action, like detailed here, where it's like more of a belt buckle instead of like a light or whatever that simplified design was. Yeah, clearly her armor is a bit more like weathered and battle damage and stuff like that. Looks like her pauldron, even like most of that symbol got like scraped off or something like that. So yeah, really like that detail as well. But moving on, I think a lot of people's favorite so far, Spybot. Pretty cool. Definitely think this needs to be in the line. I will not be happy if I don't get a Spybot because look at this dude. He's so menacing and he's just I don't know. I'm really enjoying seeing him like cause a little bit of chaos. He's very Maul like, he's an agent of chaos and I really like him quite a bit. And also like we haven't seen like an interesting um droid like this really in a while. Like we've gotten like HKs and more humanoid droids in the line, but yeah, it's been a while since they've done something like kind of out of the box when it comes to droids like this. Like we have so many from back in the day, like Legacy Collection and like 30th Anniversary Collection with like the Lars Homestead like Jawa droids and stuff. But yeah, and even like the Power Droid, I feel was like the last deviation from the humanoid type of like protocol or like HK class droids and stuff. I guess Chopper was like, the last like new droid that we got, but of course he's like astromech like. So something like this would be pretty cool in my opinion. Um yeah, I don't know. Do you guys think this would be like its own standalone figure or do you think like they would pack it in with something? Would you be I don't know, like almost like part of me is like, all right, if they want to pack in Maul with his like cloak and Spybot, I'd be pretty happy with that. Not sure. What do you guys think? Oh, I do have to highlight this though. Pong Crow, come on, it's got to happen. Performs really well in TVC March Madness. I don't know why. Still waiting for Pong Crow. Apparently, they don't think we like clones, but we do. They still don't seem to have an understanding of character placement between the two lines. Yeah, yeah. I know they've said that like TBS is a character driven line, whereas like TVC is the world building. And while there's some truth to that, you need characters to build the world. And also, like, TVC or like 375 has always been a character line. I mean, since the birth of 375 Star Wars collecting, they gave characters. So, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if they're just doing that because they don't want to saturate like a store with two versions of the same character. But I personally think they need to kind of figure out a little bit better of a method when it comes to that. Because at the same time, too, like, think about it. Like, you walk into a store and, like, you don't see the character that you really want, and you're primarily a TVC collector. That's kind of a bummer, you know? I'm sure it's like a bummer for like Black Series. You can't get a character that you want, although it seems like they get most of the characters that they want. But yeah, I don't know. They definitely need to do something a little bit better when it comes to that. Droid Factory, do your thing. Yeah, man, for sure. Maybe Droid Factory is going to give us a nice little lineup of, Maul stuff. I love when they put out like things from like the Book of Boba Fett, the Mandalorian, Ahsoka. Really helps fill in our collections. And yeah, now that you say that, I wouldn't be surprised if they do a Maul Shadow Lord. Also, Toto 360. Yeah. I mean, we have that one from like the Clone Wars line. I have like one or two of them back over there, but yeah, really cool. Love Toto. Love Toto. Toto. Maybe deluxe mall with cloak, barbell hips, and spybot. Yeah, man, that's kind of what I was thinking. That was kind of what I was thinking, just because, like, people do want to see a better articulate, like, they want to see the barbell hips. I think another figure that a lot of people have been saying needs the barbell hips and is long overdue for barbell hips is the Stormtrooper. So I don't know if you guys have gotten them. This little mini segment of new acquisitions. These came in the other day for me. I'm gonna get to reviewing those sometime soon, but I did open them up and like took a look at them. They're pretty cool, actually. I don't know if you guys gotten these, but they are actually like weathered, and it's like good weathering, almost sand trooper like. I think they're still a little too yellow for like a sand trooper, and obviously like their abdomen or like torso piece is incorrect. But yeah, these are actually pretty neat, in my opinion. But I will say that it is starting to look a little ridiculous when the definitive, most recognizable trooper in the Star Wars universe is not quite as articulated as the clone. And that's not a diss to clones, but it's like we all grew up first seeing the Stormtrooper, or at least most of us. He needs the barbell hips. At this point, this like abdomen piece that then connects to the crotch area just needs to be redone, and a new piece needs to be done for the barbell hips and like the swivel at the thigh. I think it's long overdue. I would like to see that. I think a lot of people would like to see that. And yeah, I agree with you, man. Maul with the cloak and Spybot, I think that would be pretty rad. Heck yeah, man, world building. And you need the citizens to build the world. Ugh, that's so sad, man. That's so sad. I've actually been seeing a pretty decent amount of TVC in my area, and even like I took a road trip kind of recently and saw TVC, and I actually got like at Walmart, it was like 20% off of Star Wars figures, so I got another Shock T for like 15 bucks, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I think actually distribution's been pretty decent. It just really depends on your neck of the woods sometimes. But yeah, I've been seeing actually a pretty decent amount of TVC. And like at my local Walmart, the one that I frequent the most, actually they've sold through I think about two cases of the Padme wave. Like they just keep bringing a couple more out every time. But I've been like actively like watching it like go away and then come back. And they currently have like mostly that Black Series, like a New Hope stuff. It's like a New Hope Vader, I think Luke, and maybe Leia or something like that, and maybe another figure or two. And those just aren't moving. But I saw they also recently got some of the Mando and Grogu stuff. So my Target's been doing pretty decent. Now my Walmarts, those are real hit or miss. But I did find a new one recently that I haven't been to since I was like a kid that actually had that deluxe Mando. And I was surprised. It hasn't had the new wave of stuff, has the Padme wave, but it's been pretty decent to me. But yeah, I hear you sometimes. It really is hit or miss. When I was living on the West Coast, actually, like, I don't know if it's just like more competitive out there or whatever, but it'd be pretty hit or miss sometimes. I'd like walk in and find like a random like Lando or something like that. But Yeah, the toy hunt is real, right? The client and Voss did not belong in the Black Series. They are totally TVC types of characters. I mean, yeah, especially considering that we have like an environment to put them in, like for the client. I don't know why Hasbro's still sitting on that one. Yeah, man, I don't know. They really do deserve to be in TVC. Dryden Voss at this point seems like a really tough sell just because I have to convince Hasbro that Solo is relevant. Maybe if he shows up in Maul Shadow Lord, that'd be cool. Kind of like how they got us Maroc, but yeah, total mistake. That's where I got her staff, just for customs from Etsy. Oh, interesting. Guys talking about custom accessories. Right on. Nice. Nice, man. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I do really like the weathering. I also want to bring this guy in real quick. He's one from that set. I just love that he comes with that ammo pouch. It's like that MP40, like German submachine gun pouch that you saw on like the Sand Troopers and stuff like that. I think that's a pretty cool accessory. Definitely neat if you buy a couple of these and like want to put them on like a Jabba's Goon or something like that. So I thought that was pretty neat. And actually, I did want to bring in that real quick. Some stuff I've been working on. I'll show a little bit more of this later on after we're finished with the characters. But I did these custom sand troopers recently where I weathered them myself. But what I wanted to show off was not this one, the orange pauldron. I put a pouch on him from the Power of the Jedi release because sand troopers are supposed to have those pouches. So he's got that MP40 pouch there, and then also like the smaller one that you see on that side. And yeah, I just been like diving into like a lot of reference photos in terms of like the backpacks and stuff because there's several versions of the backpacks that are all slightly different. And man, so Star Wars going down that rabbit hole of like costume designs and continuity. But yeah, Hasbro, wouldn't mind seeing that pouch maybe on a proper sand trooper with the barbell hips. And yeah, I'm just saying, maybe some better weathering. But let's pull back up the Spybot. So yeah, Spybot. I think he's very well loved. Another character that I think is pretty interesting from the show that could be a good army builder for them to get out there, and I feel like they would have the majority of the tooling for this is this Maul loyalist. So they don't have any jetpacks, I've noticed, and their chest armor is slightly different, where it has like that X diamond design there. Pretty cool. Looks like that belt is very similar to the one we saw on like the Judge and like the Fleet Commander and stuff like that. So maybe they could kit bash it that way. I'm sure the arms, this is just soft plastic, so they could probably just like make a new one of these and put it on some of the existing arms. Clearly, we had the helmet and stuff like that. But yeah, these Maul loyalists are pretty interesting. Yeah, I love that they're not actually like the red versions that we've seen multiple times, just so like we can get a little bit more variety in our shelves if they do give us this one. It looks like he has double blasters there. It looks like these are very Clone Wars types of holsters that we've seen in the line. The boots look ever so slightly different, but kind of similar. Like the shin armor's the same, but I can't tell what's like going on here with some of that stuff. But yeah, I think these guys would be pretty neat. Definitely a good army builder, one that they already kind of have. And yeah, again, it's just nice to see a little bit of variety. So they're mostly like looks like a gray coloring, hard to tell in this lighting. Maybe it's like kind of like an olivey green, but yeah, I think these guys would be pretty neat and really help like kind of start to build out more of this like mall lineup that we have. But yeah, as you can see, some more versions of them. We got Spybot. Yeah, it's just I love this underground like vibes of this show, man. It's I think something that a lot of people have been wanting to see for quite some time. And like you guys mentioned in the chat before, Book of Boba Fett, we were hoping for that and it didn't quite hit. And yeah, I love how dark Maul is getting with this show. And then moving on to these two bad boys, Icarus and Scorn. I think they're pretty stinking neat. I love him running around with that blaster and just like tearing down people, man. That's been really cool to see. Scorn looks like a big boy, very, Zabrak. Just I think these would be really cool. I know the Black Series got like those got that one Zabrak like a while back. We haven't seen anything like this in TVC, and I think it would be pretty neat to see something like this. Yeah, definitely cool characters, man. Would not mind seeing these guys. And then moving on, Vario. Now, this one actually just like screams action figure. Like this little dude in his little mech suit is definitely like an action figure. Will we get this character? That is a good question. I don't know because I feel like he's already out of his suit. He didn't do a ton in it. It's almost like he's a background character, but it would be such a cool figure. Such a cool figure. Also, like these little aliens are like so neat. But I really wouldn't mind seeing this guy in TVC. Like, look at him. Also, like, I don't think we've ever really seen them with like that kind of facial hair. He just looks so funny to me in his little like outfit there with his like leather jacket and whatever. Yeah, man. These little Alinas are pretty funny. I love this face that he was making here. He was like so bummed. And it's like I put this one in here specifically because I was like, this is how we're gonna feel if we don't see more figures from this show. Like literally this face right here is the vibe. Poor dude. Poor dude. But yeah, let me bring in some comments here and see what we got going on. TK Trooper. Yep. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I mean, man, if they update or like give us a TK Trooper with like barbell hips and don't do the Stormtrooper, I could see so many people getting pretty frustrated. Yeah, man. My Target hasn't had any TVC for some time now, and my Walmart is still holding Lando or two. Oh gosh, man. I am really shocked when people still show off like Landos, like in their toy hunts. Like, how is Lando still around? Talk about clone army. Like Lando, can't get rid of them. I haven't seen them in quite a while. Like when I was on the West Coast, I would see a lot more Landos, but I honestly haven't seen any out here in the East Coast in a while, which is good. So that's why I kind of forget that he exists. But yeah, man, that's a bummer. Did they have the new deluxe Mando at your Walmart, Riley Bob? Steve said TVC has to boost sales to be on the level of TBS, makes it real hard when there's no product or new product to buy in stores for every person. Yeah, I have some stuff I want to say about that in general. So, like, I understand that, like, TBS, they're able to sell Black Series for a higher cost because ideally, if you walk into a store and you're a general consumer, you're going to see the larger thing for a larger price and it makes sense. If they were to charge like $30 for a small TVC figure, most people are going to be like, $30 for that little thing? That's ridiculous. Which, I mean, collector or not, people are going to say that. So they can't really sell TVC at a higher price. Yet it costs the same to produce both scales because it doesn't have to do with raw material like plastics or any of that. It has to do with the actual direct labor of putting each one of these little parts together. And they typically, Black Series and TVC, consist of about the same number of parts. So it's about the same time and labor cost, which therefore make TVC kind of always running up a hill and kind of we're always having to spit back at rain when it comes to showing how profitable we are or something like that, which kind of sucks because like TVC is such a rich history of collecting. It is Star Wars collecting for me, having figures, environments, and like vehicles they can interact with. Like that is for me the bread and butter of collecting. That's why vehicles and world building items like ATRTs actually bring in decent money because I don't know how it gets broken down, but like they've always made more money on the vehicles and stuff like that. Maybe because it's a larger item, so they're able to charge a bit more for it. I'm not sure what comes down to that, but yeah. So like I understand what Steve is saying. Like basically, TVC has to increase sales, but at the same time, like you're saying, Riley Bob, if there's no TVC in stores, or going back to what we were talking about earlier, you walk into a store, you're a passionate Star Wars fan, and you don't see a 375 Ludivario, you see a TBS one, you might buy that. So where's the profit going to? It's going to go to the TBS one because there's no TVC version. So it's like, okay, I get it. But like you said, there has to be some stores in the product for people, or like there has to be product in the stores for people to buy to make TVC profitable. Do you think if we get TVC Devon, her cloak would be plastic? I don't know. I really would like it to be soft goods, but then if I bring in Padme, who has, that soft plastic cloak. It's pretty decent, and I feel like they'd probably go this route. It must be cheaper too to, like, make the plastic one because again, you have to think about time and labor costs. So like somebody has to like stitch that soft goods together. That's why it costs more money to get soft goods. It makes sense. So yeah, it kind of depends. I don't know. Would she have to be like deluxe price if she actually got the like soft goods and stuff like that? Would that make people pretty angry if they had to pay a deluxe price? I don't know, man. It's hard to say. I always like soft goods when they can do them personally, just because I do like the way it looks too. Got to be parts of Scorn that can be used for our long-awaited Savage. Yeah, that's a good point there, man. That's a good point. Yeah, like I feel like those upper arms definitely could lend themselves probably to Savage. And yeah, because that's pretty much what they did with TBS, wasn't it? I feel like they like lended some of the parts to like those two releases they had from the gaming greats and then maybe Savage from the Clone Wars. Yep, exactly. Exactly. I just have a feeling they would do the soft or the plastic version. I mean, that's what they did with TBS. Interesting. Yeah, the HasLab Dream figure pack. I think I'd be down for it. I just think it would be pricey per figure probably because it's like the less they produce, so it's like kind of like, HasLabs are typically like a smaller number of items that are produced, making them more rare. So it'd be similar to that. So I feel like it would be like maybe close to $30 a figure or something like that. Far as the kind of figure we would have gotten back in the Rogue One Last Jedi 5 POA days. Yeah, yeah, totally. I totally agree with that. And you know what? Now that you say that, they're probably gonna make like a kitty line and like this dude's gonna be there somewhere. And we're gonna be bummed. Kind of like with like what was it? Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew got the droid and we didn't get anything. We just got Lonely Jod. Lonely Jod. But yeah, going back to things we would have gotten back in the day, like this dude, ridiculous. Really, really overweight Gran Nico Demus. Yeah, kind of like his design quite a bit. I don't know if this is a figure we will ever actually get. He's pretty cool. I think it would be neat to get something like this, but yeah, kind of sucks. I don't think we'd ever get this one, but I do. Like I said, I think he'd be neat, and I'm always here for more aliens and stuff like that, and also just like the underground vibes. But yeah, he just look at him. He's so big. He would have to be deluxe. Like, is he even going to be in the rest of the show? Yeah, this one definitely feels like a long stretch. But this guy, I could see happening potentially. Although, I don't know. There's things like we don't see like Bodhi from Rogue One and like similar outfits here. Not saying they're the exact same and they could like borrow from that, but I feel like his droid Two Boots would be more likely. More likely. And like this could probably lend itself to some of the other droids that we saw. And I wouldn't be like mad if we got like, the security guys and stuff like that. I think that'd be a decent like four pack of something. Or like even if they did two of the droids and two of the like security guys, I think that would be pretty neat. Not sure if any of the parts can be reused here for Brander Lawson, but yeah. Um he seems like one that they would probably sit on too. Like I don't think he would be like a top choice, but he's definitely a key role in the show. So if we're gonna have like a complete lineup of Maul Shadow Lord figures, I feel like we would probably need this guy. But Two Boots, I'm definitely here for. Also, man, I love that they're like, you know what should we name this guy? Oh, he should have some boots. We'll just call him Two Boots. And they were like blasting some two chains that day or something like that. And they were just like, yeah, we'll call him Two Boots. How about that? So ridiculous. But yeah, I'm really liking his character quite a bit. I think that droid design's really neat. Again, always a big fan of getting more droids. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the HK class and like a mix of the New Republic security droids, which we never got in 375. That's one I would love for them to go back and do. But yeah, I think this would be a neat character to see as well in action figure form. And then, like I said, it would be cool to get some of these guys. I don't know how likely they are, but they're definitely some pretty cool looking background characters in my opinion, and definitely a troop builder. But I just don't know how invested some people might be in like getting these. And then the last character that I wanted to bring up were the Pikes and Marg Krim, who's I always love this name because it just makes me think of like margaritas, like this guy, like Marg Krim. What a wild name. But yeah, still haven't seen any Pikes in TVC. Book of Boba Fett has come and gone, and that character exists in the 6 inch, but we still haven't seen a Pike soldier. Definitely think it's about time we get some Pikes into the line. I don't know if we would get, the Book of Boba Fett versions or like if we're gonna get some from Maul Shadow Lord. Kind of don't think these are on like Hasbro's radar. I also really like the animated version of the Pikes more than the Book of Boba Fett ones. They just seem a little bit more like menacing and kind of like creepy. Uh yeah, I always like the animated version more, but I don't know, man. Uh I think it's time to get some Pikes in the line. I don't know about you guys. The kitty line got Brutus too. Yep, exactly. I just got him off Amazon for $8 to try to customize into something that'll pass for in the background. Good luck with that, man. Yeah, that kitty line. They really got some stuff for, Skeleton Crew, which sucks. It really does sucks. No deluxe. I hear you, man. I hear you, but sometimes that deluxe is the only way we can get stuff into the line. Like for example, I feel like they did deluxe for this probably as a bit of a Mando tax, but like maybe it was able to get us some new tooling on the upper body to give us this actual good looking Din Djarin versus like taking away from a character slot, like getting us Marok. So I don't know. Sometimes I think that's where the deluxe pricing comes in. Like I said, they can charge more for a Black Series figure, and therefore it helps bring in more profit, adding to like, the tooling investment or whatever for Black Series. And sometimes I think that's a little bit of the choice we have to make when it comes to, TVC and getting more stuff that we want to see in the line. And yeah, man, it's just unfortunate, but it's kind of like how it has to be. They could do a 3 pack with Scorn, Icarus, and Spybot. Ooh, that would be neat. That would be pretty neat, man. Yeah, I think that would be pretty rad. Okay, yeah, we read that one. Two boots is cool, but two tubes over two boots. Ooh, nice. I see what you're saying there. Yeah, I mean, two tubes has been a character that everybody's been asking for a while, so definitely don't disagree with you. Um, yeah, kind of hard to say because it's like two boots has gotten a lot of shine already, whereas like two tubes didn't really have a ton of lines. But I do think two tubes is actually like probably a cooler design, and also just like that mercenary alien look. Like, yeah, I'm here for that. I love security forces. Just give me Janik security, Andor, Cyril, and the corporate security. Nero from Tales of the Underworld. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Oh man, definitely still missing a lot of stuff from Andor, huh? Yeah, I was seeing some comments on Instagram the other day where it's just like reminding me, like, yeah, we still need some of those Imperial troops too from like Andor. They really also like kind of skipped on Andor. Can't have two boots without Brando Lawson. Yeah, for sure. Like, if you're gonna give us one, you got to give us both. Book of Boba Fett Pikes to had to get the bus to export beeps. That made, dare I say, funny as fuck. Uh, yeah, yeah. What was up with that? They took like a transport to get there. Like, you guys have ships. Like, if you're that badass, you think you just roll into town with your ships, kind of like the Mandalorians did in like season 3 when they showed up to Navarro. Like, it wasn't sneaky either. Like, they literally got seen at the port too, like just coming off that like transport. It's pretty funny when you think back to that. Lawson, two boots, and the standard security guard and security droids are a complete must, in my opinion. Right on, man. Yeah, and I feel like too, like if you're trying to do like some like photography or like set up scenes and stuff like that, there's a lot of key characters in here that you kind of just can't have one without the other. Like if you're gonna get those security droids, you probably need to have Brandon Lawson. But yeah, so that was pretty much like all of the characters that I was thinking we need from like the show and stuff like that. But I don't know. Hold on, I gotta make this full screen again. Entire screen. There we go. But yeah, if I had to choose my top 3 out of this entire list of figures, and I want you guys to also, like, list your top 3 of, like, characters that you want from the show that we don't have yet. It's always hard to, like, narrow it down to, like, 3 things you want, but for me, for sure, I'm gonna have to go and I'll put it in the chat too, I'm gonna type it out. So, for me, I'm definitely going Rook cast, especially because, like, Black Series got her, so it's like, "Come on, man. I need her in TVC." Also, yeah. Oh, man, see, it's yeah, Devon for me. And then, oh, man, it's just gonna be the top like, the first 3 too. Yeah. It's so hard. Oh, man, but I really like Spybot too. And it's like, would I go without the Master over Spybot? And that is the question. That is the question. Hmm. That is very difficult. Oh my gosh, I honestly don't know. Hmm. I think I'm gonna have to go Eco. Yeah. I mean, I need the Master and Apprentice. All right, let me put that in the chat. My top 3 must-haves. All right. Oh man, yeah. Always so hard to choose when you gotta like narrow it down to 3 things. Literally the collector dilemma, the dilemma in so many things. But yeah, I need the two Jedi characters and definitely need Rook cast. But again, would love Spybot, would love army builder like that, Maul loyalist. These dudes, I'm sure they could lend themselves to like getting us other like Zabraks and random stuff like that. Yeah, there's just a lot of fun design so far in this show. And heck, it's only the first 2 episodes. We still have so much more to go. So much more to go. So, yeah. I just have to play this real quick because it is so relevant. I don't know why I played halfway. True that, Maul. True that. Had to make a choice. Had to make a choice. Let's see what you guys got going on here. 2 boots, Eco, Devon, and Rook. It's 4, but I'll let it go because those are definitely amazing choices for sure. Love it. Top 3, Devon, Eco, Spybot. Nice. Nice choices, sci-fi dude. Yeah. Spybot was I really wanted him on my list. Maybe I could go without Rook cast, but you know what? I've always loved her since like Clone Wars, so big fan. Also another like female Mandalorian I love from the Clone Wars and later in Rebels was Sabine's mom. Shit, what's her name? Why am I drawing a blank again? Ursa. Ursa Wren. I need to let the show play out a bit more before I make such tough decisions. For sure, for sure. I'm just talking about my top choices so far for episodes 1 and 2. When we get to the entire like show, that's going to be definitely like that's a hard choice. Hard choice. I would be content with Devon, Eco, and Rook rounding out the Maul Shadow Lord figures. Yeah, those I think would be all the like really heavy hitters for sure. A lot of the other stuff is like, backgrounders for now, but also we don't know if there'll be like a surprise appearance by somebody who could be a heavy hitter. I mean, we're only in episodes 1 and 2. But yeah, man, I kind of agree. I'd be in a happy place, kind of like when they like got us the majority of like the Ahsoka like characters from the show, like pretty quickly. I would like Maul Deathbot. Hell yeah, man. Deathbot. Yeah, he's You bringing that death for sure. If they get an opportunity to drop another Vader on a Maul Shadowlord card, for sure. Yeah, I would not be surprised, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised. They love putting out those Vaders. I could alter mine to Devon, the security guard, and security droids. Oh, yep, yep. Good choices, good choices. What about Brander's informant? She looked cool. Yeah, yeah. I forgot to put her on here. She did look cool. I'll be curious to see if she like starts doing anything in episodes 3 and 4. But yeah, um, I wouldn't mind that either. Yeah, I'm all packed with Spybot would be cool. I think that's a general consensus. They'd be some good two packs. Lawson, Two Boots, Eco and Devon, Icarus and Scorn. Oh yeah, true. Who doesn't love a good two pack? Like the recent ones we just got. We also have to talk about this figure in just a minute, just because I know it's been making waves around the community and stuff like that. Oh no, no more Vader. Are you over the Vaders, dude? I mean, I get it. There's been a lot of Vaders. There's been a lot of Vaders. I'm never mad about Vader, but I get it. The Vader fatigue can definitely be a little much. And it's like, what's worse, the Mando fatigue or the Vader fatigue? Let me know. Hey there, all. I'm super stoked on the show so far. Awesome. Glad to have you here, Mushroom Hunter 812. Yeah, show's been great so far. I'm really loving it. Seems like a lot of you guys are really digging it so far too. Really excited for next Monday. I will say that like episode 2 kind of like ended a little too soon for me. The first episode was great. Felt like the pacing was pretty quick, a lot of action, some stuff happened. It was a little short, and then we got into that second episode, started off strong with them like kind of escaping. Um and then yeah, like it just kind of like fizzled out towards the end when she like opened up the cell and just like I was hoping for something else to happen. Like maybe like Maul to come out and like talk to her or something like that. But it just kind of ended on like a cliffhanger almost. And I was just like, oh no, I need more. So yeah. But so far loving the show. Absolutely loving it. We need TK troopers, pike foot soldiers, and security droids for good army builders. Yeah, so far the show's definitely looking like it's got some decent army builders. And the TK trooper, like we were saying before, definitely saw them in the Bad Batch. Definitely a cool design, and I definitely want to see those make their way into the line. Top 3 for first 2 episodes. Eco, Devon, Spybot. Very nice, very nice. It seems like a lot of us want Eco and Devon. Mando. Hello, Mando. I have OT fatigue. I've been seeing a lot of that. There's been some OT fatigue, I guess, since like the cantina and just like a ton of stuff that came out. And I think for me, some of the OT fatigue was just like we got figures that were repacked that just weren't great. Like Dr. Evazan, okay, he got like updated chest hair, a photo reel, and like I don't know, but like he's just like swivel hips. He was boring. There's nothing new there, nothing that made me feel like, oh, cool. The line's going in a better direction with getting more tooling or just being creative there. So that sucked. Ponda Baba just hasn't always been a great figure in general. I know some people are like not phenomenal or like not happy that his head is just like still too small and stuff like that. So for me, the OT fatigue was seeing stuff like that and just being like, this is not a great figure. Um, in terms of like OT in general, I will always love the original trilogy, but it was also tough to like not get anything for Revenge of the Sith when Revenge of the Sith was happening. So like I get that part too. That was definitely a bummer. And I just don't know how like Hasbro could time that out for like TVC fans to be like, okay, let's not give you anything from prequels, but here's a bunch of OT stuff, which is cool. I'll take stuff from the OT for sure. But yeah, I hear you, man. I want Malachor Vader. Ooh, yeah. I want some Malachor figures for sure. I need that Ahsoka. Um, I want that other Inquisitor. I want all those Inquisitors. We still need them. Still need them. I can't believe how quickly episode 2 ended. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I feel like that episode was on. I was watching it and it was done. Like so quick. Because I woke up early in the morning to watch it before I went to work because I just can't stay up until like 3 a.m. I mean, I can, but like my next day will probably suck. So yeah, I watched it in the morning, like, while I was having coffee, like, extra early, and I was just like, "Dang, okay, that was done." And I think that's probably why I was like, "Really? I wanted a little bit more. Now I gotta go to work." It's not ideal. I'll take all the Vaders, honestly. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Some people love Vaders, and some people are getting a little tired of the Vaders. I think they just need to space it out a little bit better, and I think that would help because, like, what we got, like, the Journey of Anakin 3-pack with Vader in there. Then we got the TIE Fighter with the Vader repack on a different A New Hope card, which I didn't open because it's the same A New Hope Vader, basically. And then what else did we get? Oh, and then we got the carded version from the 3-pack of Vader from Return of the Jedi. So it's like that much Vader back to back can be a little bit overwhelming. But I know that Hasbro is doing the best to like manage their factory time. So that's why they're doing it. So like the factory's pumping out the ones for the Anakin set. Meanwhile, just as they're finishing up that production run, it's probably like still the tooling's out. So they're probably like, let's pump out a couple more for the carded collectors and do that or whatever. But yeah, that's the other thing too, is I think sometimes when they do these like non-carded releases, they should be doing more exclusive accessories or something that comes with it that makes it unique compared to the carded version and not just a straight look. We put the same figure on a card. Malibu Stacy got a new hat, guys. It's like, it's not exciting. Checking in late, but glad to catch your stream. Oh, awesome, man. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. TPC is really digging into my pockets. Ooh. Do you think they'll still do a HasLab this year, considering the big 50th anniversary next year? One, I feel you because so much product has dropped. It feels like we're about to have a HasLab because like they do that. They just drop all the product all at once. You start getting all this stuff, and you're like, man, there's a lot of stuff. I'm happy, but also my bank account's not that happy. In terms of the HasLab, I have a feeling we will probably see one for the 50th. I don't know if they're gonna do one like anytime soon. I don't know. I feel like it's also been a little bit chaotic maybe in the world with, rising fuel prices and stuff. And just every day seems like the world is just a little crazier. And I'm sure that messes with their logistics and projections in terms of like, is it a proper time to be doing something like that? Because maybe they're even thinking about us, like our pockets are hurting. I mean, heck, like eggs are too expensive. Let's just say that. And then you still got to buy like TVC. So it's a juggling act. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to the 50th anniversary actually. I was kind of thinking of some fun projects I might try to do and I'll share maybe on like the next stream or two, like some stuff I'm thinking about creatively to like kind of celebrate the 50th anniversary. But yeah, we need updates on OT figures. Which ones are you thinking about? Which ones? I know there are a few Lukes that I think could use a redo. And I know, like, we've done Luke many, many times, but like one, for example, is like that Return of the Jedi Death Star, like dual Luke. That figure is just so bad now in TVC when you look at like Farm Boy Luke or some of the other characters that we have, and it's just like, oof, that could use a redo for sure. And also, I did want to bring out real quick 11th Brother. So I was taking a look at this guy, and his tooling is pretty interesting because he actually uses those light cruiser Luke legs on the bottom part all the way up to the thigh swivel, and then that's a new thigh swivel, which is actually a little bit taller and elongated, making him a taller figure than that light cruiser Luke. And then that's how they were able to do the barbell hips on him. So that's pretty cool. And like instantly I was thinking, I was like, okay, like could they do a better Luke like from Mandalorian? Because like I didn't like that lack of barbell hips and just like those Lukes have kind of been weird. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to boil and pop some of those Lukes, but they're oddly built like Frankensteins. They just show their age. Like that Luke from the light cruiser set is like a tan plastic piece, which or like a bare body and then like a shell that is his like black tunic that goes over it. And that's why I couldn't boil and pop it because the black tunic's like a harder plastic. So you have to like boil that, put it in the freezer, and then like freeze it and then use like a knife to like pry apart the edge that they like glued. It's just a whole it was way too difficult. Let's just say that. I need a pebble on my shoe. Oh my gosh. You're too much, dude. OT fatigue. Wait until next year. True. True. But I'm kinda curious if they're just gonna celebrate the entire, like, saga and stuff like that, which I think would be kinda cool. I just feel like there'll definitely be some original trilogy and New Hope focus, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. And I know it won't happen anytime soon, but an updated Lando would be cool. Oh my gosh, you're about to trigger some people, man. People are trying to find new toys in the, like, stores, and they're still finding Landos, and you're talking about a new Lando. I don't getting I probably didn't mean you don't mind getting more OT stuff as long as we steer clear of Tatooine for a while. Everyone wants to go back to Tatooine. No, I hear you. I hear you. I kind of agree. That's why I was talking about like the Return of the Jedi. Luke could be good. I know Bespin Luke could really use an update, and like that Black Series, like little diorama piece they did with the Vader. That Luke looked pretty cool. So seeing something like that in TVC, I think would be pretty neat in terms of like getting some OT stuff out there. On a medical table on a medical table, Vader would be fun. Yeah, for sure. It's cool that we have, like, that accessory kinda from back in the day, but yeah. Def more land Yeah, like I'm saying, man, I feel like a lot of people are pretty over Lando. Now the meditation chamber would be cool. I think that would be a neat world building piece. I could see them maybe doing that eventually when we get to, like, a ESB anniversary. It all goes back to Tatooine. All these people always trying to go back to sand planets. Do you think they'd be sick of sand by now? I think Vader and Stormtroopers should be regularly released so everyone has a chance to get one. See, that's a good point too. Like there's like certain like key core characters that you kind of want to always offer every once in a while, just like for new people who are trying to get them. So like the Stormtrooper, I think is one that I think many people have always said should kind of just be in rotation, just so you can pick up a Stormtrooper. So I get that. I get that that point when it comes to Vader. You know, like Vader is a key character that you're gonna need in your collection. Similar with Luke, probably similar with Mando right now, just because he's very relevant and stuff like that. But yeah, same thing with like Obi-Wan, which we still have to talk about. We still have to talk about. I'm gonna pull that up because we just have to talk about Obi-Wan. I don't want to hear any more about Obi-Wan. So let me share my screen here real quick. All right. Now we all know about this. Now, I'm actually kind of liking this set just because the Obi-Wan is actually really a good figure from the like knee up. He's great. These knees are definitely very, very weird. Now, this is not like the version that I have here because it's like I think a prototype still. But yeah, everyone is pretty bummed on this like cut that they did in here. And it's just so odd. Even in my review, I was taking a look at the like these baggy pants are from like the actual A New Hope Kenobi version. And it's like, yeah, I just don't know why they bothered to do this part right here. Really odd choice. Really, really odd choice. But like I said, the rest of the figure itself is actually pretty dang good. I had a lot of fun posing it. I think it looks great. It's just like those knees. It was so close to perfection. So close to perfection. And then the airborne trooper is great. Really happy to finally have that update, like I said. And the clone mold itself is just like wonderful to always have. So yeah. I don't know. Are you guys really that bummed on the knees? Like, how are you feeling about the knees? Like, I don't know. Obi-Wan. Let's see if we can get him in here. So, like, he looks great. Like, I just think it's a fantastic figure. The only thing that really sucks on it is these knees with that little cut in there. It's just so odd. It's so odd. But yeah, again, I'm not like horribly mad about it. I think they do need to fix those knees just because this is a key character from the prequel trilogy and Revenge of the Sith. And it's just like you can't do him like that. He has to be perfect. Like you didn't nail it and you got to go back to the drawing board on that. And it's kind of an easy thing to fix. Like you just need to figure out that knee. Like whether you're fixing the upper leg tooling or whatever or the boot thing, like just fix it, Hasbro. Just fix it. Yep. Yep. That's true. 50th the 50th won't be primarily OT focused, but all eras. Yeah, cool. See? Like a celebration of just like Star Wars in general. So I think that would be I think that would be smart. Yeah. Yeah, that Bespin look that we have currently is pretty dang bad, man. It's pretty bad. Yep, totally. HasLabs drive TVC sales though. Each one has figures and themes built out around it. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, I don't think it's like, I think it's safe to say that TVC shows up when it comes to our HasLabs and like some of those really unique items that we want to get. Like the ghost back there. Love that thing. Which way? Over there. Yeah, right there. Love that. It's one of my favorite things in the collection. HasLab gunship coming. Really excited to have those. The Razor Crest obviously was wonderful. Yeah, they're just great things, and I love that they've built around them. Now they need to continue to build around them. Like the cantina, I think they did a lot. They really built out around that, probably because it's like such a big environment, and I guess they wanted to properly world build it. But I do want them to still go back to Rebels. I feel like they kind of hit the brakes on that, and I don't think that's necessarily fair because, I still want to see the rest of the season 1 crew. Like we have season 1 Zeb and Kanan, but like, hey, I really want that Ezra. I really want like, that Sabine. I want Hera. I want the whole crew, man. Come on. I want Chopper with like an actual like thruster middle strut. Like I want AP5. I want other characters from other seasons. Like, come on, Hasbro, don't forget about the Ghost. Let's see some more. I'm sure we're going to see the Ghost in upcoming media too. So I'm thinking we're going to need some New Republic stuff. Like, yeah, keep building it out. Keep building it out. New Emperor would be great. Yeah, our Emperor. I want to see definitely the Revenge of the Sith Palpatine. I think our Emperor could probably be kit bashed a little bit because mostly he's being covered in robes, and I've seen a lot of people use Jedi training Luke to do that. So that could be something they could try too. The knees don't bother you one bit. Ugh, I know some people would be furious about that. I don't like the knees, but they don't ruin my day. I'll just say that. I think they're kind of atrocious, but they're not going to ruin my day or like me actually enjoying having a figure that I can actually pose in photography and doesn't look like a bunch of bantha poodoo. Because that old version from the Legacy Collection, I showed it in my review, and that thing looks hideous. It looks worse than those knees. But yeah, we're not letting them slide on those knees, but I feel you, man. They're not like ruining my day. Knees and wrists are my only gripes. The wrist, I actually haven't had too much of a problem with. I kind of showed it in my like review. If you like just pop out the wrist itself and like articulate it that way and then stick it back into the peg, you kind of get around like the big sleeves that kind of like hinder the articulation and stuff like that. So it is workable. It is workable. Just gotta be a little creative, but yeah, they could do a little bit better. I feel like, Hasbro really needs to do a little bit of a better job when it comes to test driving some of their products. So like those knees, maybe, if somebody actually was posing it in like a professional, poser or something like that, would just be like, huh, that doesn't really look that great in that photo. Like that's odd. I don't know. Just as an artistic person, it would catch my eye to be like, what's that cut in his leg? That looks weird. Like it just doesn't look right. Or even like just some things how like they just don't function as well sometimes. Like I don't know if Hasbro's doing test drives sometimes. Opposite of what my wife says about me, good figure from the knees down. Oh my gosh. On with you. On with you with on with you on that 2-pack. One big flaw, but the rest is good. Yeah. Feel that, man. I'm bummed on the knees, but also his height. He's shorter than Anakin, but not by that much. I actually haven't put them side by side yet. Is he really that short? I thought he didn't look too bad. I mean, when I put him here next to I guess he's kind of short compared to a stormtrooper, which is kind of interesting. Interesting. Yeah, maybe he is a little short. I'll have to look into that. Thanks for pointing that out. Maybe that's Hey man, maybe they really messed up on those knees and proportions. Do you think Hasbro thinks they've supported the Ghost with Ahsoka figs and forgot about the Rebels? I always thought about that, and I feel like maybe they did because maybe they justify it or think that we have a decent lineup because we got stuff from Ahsoka and a little bit of a Rebels trickle effect. But I still want them to go back and do the Rebel stuff, man. Like that was the main drive for the Ghost when people were like when I was saying like I want to see the Ghost. I think the Ghost would be amazing. Rebels is one of my favorite like top like shows to watch for me. I just love it a lot. I think it's great story and like great character progression. And the Ghost was something that I really wanted to see, and I thought it would be an amazing vehicle. I never said I want the Ghost from Ahsoka. I wanted the Ghost from Rebels. I wanted to see Rebels in the line. Like there was no articulated Rebels figures. So yeah, I don't know if they think that, but I think they should hear that we still want more Rebels stuff. Like the Inquisitors go with the Rebels. So like, come on, man, get us some Rebel stuff. Governor Price, exactly. Other Imperials, that would be great. Governor Price, like, yeah, they really messed up when it came to the female officer sculpt in Andor. So maybe they're going back to the drawing board with that, and they can redo that figure and also give us Governor Price and also a variety of other like female officers. So yeah, man. TVC Ezra with lightsaber. Yep. Oh man, I love that lightsaber design. Oh, so cool. So cool. So sad when it got destroyed. 22,000 ghosts sold. We need more supporting figures. Season 1 Ezra, Old Man Rex, Fulcrum Ahsoka, 3 Inquisitors, proper Grand Inquisitor, and Old Master Maul. Yeah, I would be absolutely thrilled to get that all in one year. I think that would be amazing. And I think a lot of people would be hyped on it too. Going to need the new Maul crew. True. His crew so far pretty badass. uh, let's see. Maybe they should get some of the best community photographers to product test their products. Sign me up. True. I would. I would. I really do think, I don't know how like the design process goes, but I think they're just taking I mean, I know it's like a long window and they're trying their best to get stuff to us quick, but I just think sometimes there's some slight oversights because, you're not you're not taking a look at these things like we really analyze them once we have them in hand and we're like, "Oh, what's up with those neat?" It's like that Seinfeld episode. It's like, "What's that red dot?" And it's just like, "Oh, I didn't notice that before." And it's like, "How did you not notice that before?" Or like, "Did you not open this thing and like pose it?" But yeah, I would gladly. Hasbro send me a figure. I will definitely tell you how great or how it could improve. I'm always here to help the line. Random thought. If Zeb is a pilot, what does he fly? Maybe we'll either get a made to order U Wing or Y Wing since they're in the trailer. Yeah, I could definitely see him flying one of those. I also would not mind seeing Zeb fly a B Wing. Just because like they had that B Wing episode in Rebels and he was there with Hera when they were getting those for the Alliance. And yeah, something about Zeb and a B Wing sounds really cool. Also, because we don't get enough B Wing action, in my opinion. But yeah, he probably flies a U Wing. The Ghost is a Rebels ship. We had about 10 seconds in Ahsoka. We have hours and hours of in Rebels for sure. I mean, that was definitely something where I was like, I don't know why this is being put on an Ahsoka box. It should be a Rebels box. But yeah, man, I agree. I agree. Hopefully, we're going to see a lot of the Ghost in upcoming stuff on the big screen. Who knows? Who knows? We all know the Ghost is really a Rebel ship. Yep. See, a lot of Rebels fans, man. Take notes, Hasbro. Take notes. 22,000 goals sold, but so many have been showing up in the resale market. It is huge. Oh, interesting. I have not looked at like the resale of the ghosts. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, HasLab seemed to be a big aftermarket thing as well. Big, big, big. They'd be great for promo as well. Hasbro needs to get better at promo. Yeah, I think they actually have been doing a little bit better when it comes to, promotional stuff. I mean, I like seeing this kind of like toy photography. I think that is really fantastic. Yeah, I put some other images in here real quick. Let's see. Like this, I think that's great. I love seeing this kind of like, advertising where they're actually putting the stuff in an environment, making you feel like you're in the movie or you can recreate scenes from the movie. I think that's really, really great stuff. And yeah, I'm liking that they're doing that with TVC because TVC lends itself to doing that type of product advertisement. The Hasbro team only play with retro and TPS. Oh, that's a sad life. That's a sad life. I hope it's not true. You got to get into the TVC. It is the way. I bet he flies the new Razor Crest before Din takes it for payment. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So you're thinking Din's going to pull a really good job, big heister, like stop like some Imperial forces, and then that's how he gets the crest. It's a good theory. Also, where did Zeb then get a Razor Crest? What was Zeb doing? How did he come upon a Razor Crest? Are they rare? Are they not rare? Pelly made it seem like, oh, Razor Crest, whatever. This is the N1 Starfighter. This thing is like rare. So like I'm curious. I'm curious. Because also it seemed like Mando was having problems finding a Razor Crest. So like where did Zeb get this thing if he does have this thing? In general, I would like to know where that thing came from. Somehow the Razor Crest returned. All right. I did want to share some recent stuff that I kind of been working on real quick. So let me pull that up as well. All right. So real quick, just because Maul Shadow Lord, I just wanted to share some of these like older pics from back in the day. This is my Mandalore shelf display, one of my favorite things in the collection room, and this is just a shot I took of like some Maul stuff. Him taking out somebody who didn't want to become a Maul loyalist. Really enjoying Maul Shadow Lord, and just also kind of happy that we had this figure in general from back in that Clone Wars release, but also all these Mandalorians and stuff like that. Like I was showing earlier, I wouldn't mind seeing that new Maul loyalist with the non-red armor, Rook cast, stuff like that. Just continue to build out more of this Maul vibe. So yeah, just wanted to share this again. One of my favorite displays. I really need to take some more updated shots with this thing. And then I took this shot recently and posted it online. Just had to get, Marok and Maul in like a little duel there. That Marok figure is really, really impressive. I really enjoyed posing it. It's a great looking figure. Yeah. And then of course, like I said, this Maul is great. So had to put these two together. Didn't really know what I wanted to do in terms of a shot. So I kind of did like a random like port, like they just like happened to cross paths and stuff like that. And that's why I put those random like Rhodians and that other alien in the back there and stuff like that. But yeah, just a little Maul Shadow Lord love. Then moving on. I didn't want to talk about this stuff. So in my like hiatus and stuff like that and trying to get back into like the collection room and whatever, I had this like this is my original Power of the Force dewback that I've had since I was a kid. And I do love that thing quite a bit, but also like it just doesn't look right. And I wanted to take some shots of these sand troopers that we got recently from that Empire or Stormtroopers of the Empire 3-pack. But I also, the first shot or two I took of them, I didn't really dig because, like, honestly, they needed some more weathering. So I was kind of like in a bit of like a crossroads here where I was like, you know what? I'm going to weather up some sand troopers and I'm also going to finally like upgrade that dewback. So taking a look at the sand trooper here, real close up, I pretty much got some like dry brush, like weathering kits and just like went to town on him. Not too heavy. I wanted to like, not make him look like some of those old 30th anniversary collection figures that look like they've been like dragged through mud. So I went kind of light. It's pretty much like a sand color with a light sand color, like dry brushed all over it. And then a tiny bit of like a black soot you can see here on his helmet and stuff like that. And I was really trying to reference a lot of like A New Hope shots. I watched A New Hope seriously like 4 times in a row, just mostly like the beginning, like Tatooine and like Mos Eisley scenes, just to really like have some reference of like how these guys looked and stuff. And I think it turned out great. After I got everything like kind of weathered up, which looked really good on the black, just because like that sand helps accent a lot of the detail, I then hit it with like a clear coat, like matte varnish by Krylon, which I've shown in some of my custom videos and stuff like that. And I really think these guys turned out quite great. This one here is actually just a regular Stormtrooper, so you can see his torso is actually not the proper Sand Trooper version. I just had one of these extra ones lying around, and he was actually the first one I did, just as kind of like a test run. And I thought he'd just be my dewback guy, just so you don't like mostly see that. But you can see how it accented some of his armor here. Just really kind of like made him look a lot better and like a sand trooper. And for him, I kind of just wanted him to really reference like, I don't know if you guys remember from the Power to Force release of this, but they had that like classic image that they had of the dewback where it's like the rider kind of like on that blue background and the dewback's just kind of like very close up shot of it. So I wanted him to be like very similar to that. So I used specifically this black staff that came with, I think, one of the Legacy Collection or 30th Anniversary Collection ones, just because the staff they used in that was black. Although I made the tip like silver just to make it look like a little bit more, I don't know, like an actual piece of something and not just like a piece of black plastic. And then painted this up a brown color for that, like, handle wrapping, and then also gave it that dry brushing of like sand color just to help, make it also look weathered in. But yeah, if you take a look at his helmet, I think it did a really good job on that one too. Like it just looks very proper. Now for the dewback itself, I was really referencing a lot of photos when it comes to the dewback. In terms of like the color, I pretty much settled on like what Hot Toys did and used that as like a reference one because I didn't know what direction I kind of wanted to go with this. Like the ones in the Mandalorian are a little bit more brownish and like that looks cool, but at the same time, I kind of wanted this to be a little bit more New Hope. So I just went with what Hot Toys did, use that as a base example. And then I pretty much took this thing and mixed up like a dark green paint color, which was pretty similar to like one of the like washes that I use for like a lot of my custom buildings and stuff like that. And just gave them an entire base coat of this like dark green color. And then let that dry. And then essentially went in with a bit of a lighter like green color to then accent like his like mouth area, and you can't really see it too well, but like his underbelly. So I really hit that, made it lighter, and then gave it a subtle like fade that goes up and like kind of like dies out. So like a bit more of a solid paint coat down here and then just like faded out here, which you can see. I also noticed on that dewback from the Hot Toys release and some of the reference photos that it's like he had a little bit of like a brown coloring here. At first, I didn't like how that was turning out. It didn't look great to me, but once I then hit this with like the sandy like weathering kit, it helped blend it together a lot more, and I thought that was pretty nice. Um, Very hard to see in here, but it's a subtle like dark brown green color to like actually make like the nostril look like it has some depth. And then the eye, I was like, I don't know if I want to give him an eyeball or just make it a solid color. And like what color? I like seen some people like do red before, like what color should dewback eye be? Should it be white? Will that look a little weird? So I just opted to do yellow because that's kind of like close what Hot Toys did, and I thought it would look interesting. And then I did it in the solid color and it looked really good. And I was like, I don't know, it makes him look very dinosaur like. Do I want to just roll with that, or do I want to like do an eyeball? So I opted for the eyeball, and I think it actually looks pretty good. That was definitely kind of hard to do a perfect dot circle. It's just like such a tiny space. And I was like, well, here goes nothing. I didn't paint the mouth. I was actually going to go back in later and do this with like a barbarian flesh color and maybe add a little bit more of like dirt and stuff to his teeth. But honestly, the more I look at it, the more I think it looks fine. So I'm probably just going to leave it alone for now. And then this was just like a tiny detail of like a straight up brown, like burnt sienna that I mixed up. Just like it's kind of like one of my go-to leather colors, like not much really added to it. I think it just looks really good. And then I hit this with a tiny bit of silver as well. And then the saddles, you can't see it too well at this angle, but I had to get in there with a really light tan color to do this like piece of rope stuff. It's just like very fine detail work. And then same thing for the saddlebags. The knapsack I made like similar to this color. I think I might have added a tiny bit more like brown in there to make it darker. And then just kind of like mix stuff to like make each different shades back here for like the equipment or whatever he's riding on. But all in all, really hyped on how this came out. It's a little easier to see here in his foot, but like that sandy, I used the same like weathering kit from the sand troopers to like sand up his feet and like his underbelly and stuff. And I really do think it also like kind of like helped blend all the colors together and stuff. And you can see a little bit of that accent up here on his top of his head or whatever. And then once I was done with that, I just hit it with a clear coat again to seal everything up. So yeah, I will say that this dewback is pretty fun just because I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with it, but it does have that like tail that you can move to articulate his mouth and stuff like that. But specifically for this shot, I wanted his mouth to be open and you can't really, it's a piece that you have to interact with. So what I did was actually, I don't think you can see it because I made a point of not being able to see it. Is like I stuck like a tiny bit of like tissue paper back here on like the corner of his jaw on the other side that would keep his mouth propped open. And that's how I pretty much kept him like, doing his little dewback roar or whatever. But yeah, pretty happy with that. And then you can see this other guy a little bit over here is kind of weathered up as well. Don't mean to go to the next page. Go back. Let's scroll down. Yeah, so you can see this guy. I wanted to point him out because this is my favorite Sand Trooper weapon. I love this old World War II, what is it, an MG42 or something like that, like machine gun that's like retro put together to like, make these worldly lived in like space weapons. Absolutely love that accessory. We haven't seen it in a long time since like that Legacy Dewback release. And if we ever do see like a proper carded, hopefully updated hips Sand Trooper in TVC, I would love them to maybe put this accessory in there. They always give us that other cannon that came in the actual like 3-pack for these Sand Troopers with the Scout and Snow Trooper Commander. But like, yeah, this weapon, we don't see it. And I'm like, why? I would love to see it. It's my favorite. I just love that dude, Black Pauldron, and that rifle. He's just so cool looking. And then the last things I did were like I kind of just wanted to do a shot of them like patrolling around, and they just happened to like come into this like valley or something like that, and these massives are just like, what are you doing here? Maybe there's some Tuskens about to like meet up with them and whatever. But yeah, I also actually took this shot outside, natural light. You can't beat a good sunny hot day for like some like Tatooine vibes. And this is actually just like a printed background in the foreground or whatever that I like placed back there just to make everything look like it's actually like on the Dune Sea. So yeah, I was definitely feeling some Sand Troopers lately. So it's funny because like Howl Runner, you're talking about OT fatigue, but I've really been feeling Sand Troopers for some reason. And it's probably because I was just like motivated by this like little project of mine and stuff. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It was fun. It was fun to like get like down and dirty with some like paintbrushes. I haven't done some stuff like this in a little while, so it felt good. And also just like the dewback is just such a fun like creature, and also taking this like old toy collectible of mine and like giving it like a glow up was actually pretty fun. Because I don't know about you guys, this I don't have this problem with too many of my items, but this dewback, probably because it wasn't originally in my collection for a little while, it was like in the attic of like my like parents' house, was like definitely kind of sticky. I had like tried to clean it so many times and it was just so sticky. But I will say, once I painted this thing, it's no longer sticky. So it's like covered that stickiness away and like resealed it. So like that's also a benefit of this whole paint project. Do you think we'll get TVC 375 for the 50th celebration? I think it should be left blank or George Lucas figure. What do you think those two choices? Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know about VC 375. I really don't know. It's been blank on Steve's list. I'm curious what they're thinking about it. I have a feeling if anything we'll see it for the 50th. It would make sense. It would be like poetic. And yeah, it could be cool. In terms of what it should be, a George Lucas figure I think would be freaking amazing. Like an official like George Lucas, not the Stormtrooper one, but like a George Lucas figure. Man, that'd be pretty cool. I do have a custom one back there somewhere that I made out of like a spare Alan Grant from the Hammond collection, and that Stormtrooper George Lucas figure. I like ripped that head out, which really wasn't easy. It's not a boil and pop. It's like very crude tooling. I pretty much had to cut his chest apart to get the head separated from the neck joint. But yeah, uh, I'd be here for a George Lucas figure. I think that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Thanks, man. Thanks. Classic display. Always love seeing the Mando throne. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's one of my favorites for sure. Definitely one of my favorites. And I definitely put a lot into like making that thing and getting enough Death Watch and Mandalorians to fill it up. I mean, that was some of the heaviest army building I've ever done. I bought 40 of each one of those like factions. That was a lot. Yeah, I bought 40 of the Mandalorians. I bought 40 of the Death Watch. I don't think I bought 40 of the like Super Commando. I can't remember how many of those I got. I might have just got like a case or two, and then I got 40. Oh my gosh, yeah, I got 40 of the 332nd on that stupid VC45 mold, and probably 40 of the 501st as well. So that was an expensive, stupid year. Thank goodness TVC was still under like 20 bucks, but man, yeah, I really invested in that display for sure. For sure. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks. That was what I was going for. I just wanted a proper do back for like, some shots and stuff like that. I think he looks good. I know, sometimes we can have some OT fatigue, but I think this would be a creature that would be, pretty beneficial for the line. You could do Mandalorian release of it. Obviously a New Hope version. Yeah, I think the dewback's kind of a fun one. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's what I was going for too. I don't know if you guys have watched on Disney Plus the making of the dewback under the extras on A New Hope. Really, really fun seeing them do like the digital creation of the dewbacks and even going back to do some of the reshoots that they did in Tunisia for like some of those like sand troopers and stuff like that. Those sand troopers were way too dirty though. I don't know why they like smeared them with so much like oil and like I don't. It wasn't sand. They were a little too brown. They were a little too brown. Yep, I agree. I think a Sand Trooper 4-pack would be really cool. I'm starting to agree with a lot of people though in terms of like the hips. I think it would have been a good move to do that, and it's actually kind of sad because we did get new tooling on this figure because they had to make this torso piece here with the actual like proper Sand Trooper version, and I'm pretty sure this torso piece is all connected to the crotch piece. So it's like they had an opportunity here since they were doing new tooling to do barbell hips on this guy. Ugh, so close yet so far. I guess they would have had to do new swivel like thighs or right here or whatever, but yeah, I really do think some updated hips would be good. Hold on. I won't zoom out. I'm stuck in that. Zoom out. Nothing to see here. There we go. But yeah, definitely a 4-pack wouldn't be a bad idea. I think the Sand Trooper is always one that people still want to see. I recently got rid of my very old Sand Troopers in the hope that I can get some new ones soon. Yeah, I've been kind of thinking about the same of like what to do with some of these old Sand Troopers I have sitting around. They're not great. I guess there is like a local comic shop and like toy store that I might take them to and just see if they give me like some store credit, maybe buy like a new figure or two from whatever I get. I also have those Legacy Collection Snow Troopers, which some people like more still than the current one, just because the helmet, like there's helmet issues or whatever, just because it's like flat or whatever. But yeah, I've been meaning to get rid of those as well because I might just keep one just to say that I like still have like that version of that 375 figure. But yeah, I don't need the little army of those that I still have. They've been replaced. A young George Lucas from A New Hope filming would be so cool. Yeah, I totally agree. That's what I'm thinking too. Plaid shirt, George. Maybe give him like a similar like camera like they did on that Hammond collection, Steven Spielberg. I think that would be really, really cool. That old man George Lucas. Yep. I mean, old George would be cool too. Army building now is a job, dude, for real. For real. It is not easy nowadays. Yep. See? Updated Stormtrooper hips, man. Updated Stormtrooper hips. Yep. I agree. Totally agree. But yeah, here's another shot of that dewback. This is the first shot I took of it. You can see a little bit better here with the weathering on that Sand Trooper. Looks pretty dang good in my opinion. They were just a little too clean. Like I said, these new Stormtroopers of the what is this? Imperial Remnant Stormtrooper from the Mandalorian Grogu. The weathering on those are pretty good. I'll do a little comparison when I like do my actual review with some of these customs, but yeah, I'm kind of curious if that's like a test run to maybe doing a Sand Trooper 4-pack for like the New Hope or something like that. So you never know. But yeah, here's another look at that rifle. This one, as you can see, I like give it that weathering effect, dry brushing and stuff like that. Really bring out the details and make him look like he's been walking around the Dune Sea, and just like, sand's been getting everywhere. God, I really just love that rifle so much. I did think it was funny to have like Hammerhead back here creeping like always. He's such a creep. Look at that sideways view, man. But yeah, another shot, just so some like Mos Eisley type of environment and stuff. And then I wanted to share this, which I was actually see, I've been on like a little bit of a sorry guys. I went back to Tatooine, but because I've been so into these sand troopers, I was like, I need to build some new buildings. So I built this recently just to kind of get back in the groove of like building some stuff. I had like this 3D printed door that I've been meaning to use. So pretty much like built this all out of XPS foam, cut a hole, put this door in there, and then, grouted it up and then hit it with a tiny bit of like a wet, like paint that I then like kind of like dry brush to get this like dirty like streak effect and stuff. But what's really cool about this one, if I can zoom out a little bit real quick, is that I decided to just make it a double-sided thing. So it's like a 2-for-1 if I ever want to do like a quick, like different shoot, like boom. Had that front, had that back, multiple different types of shots. Cause like, I take a lot of photos. So you run out of set sometimes, or you gotta like Jenga some stuff to make it look a little bit different than the last shot you took or whatever the heck it may be. But yeah, also just using like some scrap material like foam that I had sitting around, where I was like, okay, I still have two pieces here. I'll cut an angle or whatever. You can actually see that I like actually had to put like another piece on top before I could like put this all together to like match this. So a lot of kit bashing here, if you will. And then just like another like piece that I had sitting around here to like add a little bit more of like interesting depth to that building. But then I also had this other 3D printed piece right here of like a doorway that you can like kind of like just see all the way through, which I've been wanting to use because I thought it'd be fun to have, but also for like some perspective shots. So like, for example, I could take a shot like this and have like a bunch of figures set up out here. So it makes you feel like you're actually in this building and kind of looking around outside of what's going on. So yeah, again, another 2-for-1 here, where the back is just straight up, no like, it's just like straight grout wall. So I wanted this to be like the inside of a canteen or something like that. So it'll lend itself to a lot of interesting settings later on. But yeah, the front, similar thing going on in terms of the design of these buildings. Just try to keep it like very Tatooine minimalist. They always have these like pillars going on, and then it connects to stuff like this on the top. But yeah, so kind of fun to get back in there and start making some stuff to like get ready to like take some sand trooper shots. But yeah, this was just like really fun right here to get that. Yeah, I thought you guys would find that kind of fun and interesting. Let's see what you guys got going on. I'm jealous. I can't wait to start making diorama soon. I have space now. Oh, cool. Did you like have like a little bit of restriction when it comes to space back in the day? Do you have like a nice little studio area now where you can make a mess? Yeah. It was nice for me to get back in like the craft making stuff and just make a mess. I still have some stuff out there I need to clean up from making this building or whatever. But yeah, always fun to, make some more stuff and, like I said, get ready to take some shots and stuff like that. But yeah, let's see. I think that's pretty much all that I have in terms of what I wanted to share other than the Maul stuff. So yeah, we've been going for about 2 hours now. I'll probably cut it soon. And yeah, I did want to let's bring up some of that Maul stuff real quick again, just because again, Maul has been really, really fantastic. Really enjoying the show. Really enjoying having actual figures from the show. I think that's been quite nice. So let me bring that in real quick one last time before we get out of here. So yeah, the figures we have so far, like I was saying, really cool that we got some more bad guys actually in the line. Really appreciating these two figures specifically, getting some Inquisitors in the line. Wonderful to have. Looking forward to taking more shots at these guys. Thank you, Hasbro, for finally getting some Inquisitors into the line and for, actually getting some bad guys from the Bad Guys show. hoping that we're seeing some good guys soon. Maybe they're gonna, do a little switcheroo on us, and we're gonna have to wait forever to get the good guys. But yeah, like I said, happy to have figures in hand. That's always great. In terms of the characters from the show, they've been interesting so far from episodes 1 and 2. The Master, I think, is definitely a figure a lot of people want to have. Obviously, the Padawan Apprentice is going to be a character a lot of people want to have, and it seems like Spybot is also pretty popular along with Rookcast. So yeah, Hasbro, if you're for some reason watching this, take notes. These are some of the characters that we think are heavy hitters and that we want to see from the show. Like I said earlier, Rookcast could really lend herself to being an army builder for some other female Mandalorians down the line. I'm sure some tooling here can be reused for something. You guys have been getting pretty creative so far when it comes to the new tooling and getting, different background characters and stuff like that into the line. I know this guy might be a little difficult, but hey, you never know what door he could lead to later down the road in terms of, getting us other characters. But yeah, Rookcast, definitely a cool one. Spybot, already a fan favorite. Again, who doesn't expect to be getting more Mandalorians? I'm pretty sure we'll probably see something like that in the future when it comes to this show. These guys, they just look cool. Hasbro, do the best to get these into the line as well. One can dream. One can dream, Vario. He would be cool. I expect to see him probably, like somebody said, in one of those kitty lines. But hey, man, collectors can dream, right? And then a long shot right here. Such a long shot. Poor Nico. I don't think you're going to make it. Just like you didn't make it in the show. That's right. You got shot. You're done. And then Lawson. I'm sure some of this tooling could go to something. So far, been a pretty cool character. I'll be interesting to see like his whole story throughout this show and like where he lands or like if he gets killed off. 2 boots. Gotta have some 2 boots. Who doesn't like more droids? Who doesn't like more droids? And then, yeah, security people seems to be something that's pretty popular so far. Like, it's pretty cool design. So, like, definitely a decent army builder. Then the Pikes. One day, hopefully we'll get the Pikes. But yeah, I don't know. So far, really liking the show. Really happy that we have some figures, and I've seen some really interesting character designs. So fingers crossed we get more figures from the show. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. Let's see before we get out of here. Is there a knack to cleaning up acrylic paints without clogging up your drains? Ooh, I had a minor disaster in my apartment after customizing session. How much acrylic were you putting down the drain? There is not really a trick or a knack to it. They have like paintbrush cleaners that I will use for acrylics. You can get them at I'm sure you can find them on Amazon if you just like search like paintbrush cleaner. It's like this like circular little like container, screw it off, and it's like basically like special like kind of like I don't know what you can call it, like a dry detergent or something like that you like clean your paintbrushes with. I think it helps dilute the paint pretty well, so that worked for me. If I have really, really messy stuff going on, I prefer to like put that down the toilet or something like that. But maybe the drain is not the way to go for your apartment. Hopefully it wasn't that bad after your customizing session, man. I hope you didn't ruin something or have like I don't know, a giant accident. Recast is a given. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. When's the next live stream? That's a good question. You know what? I'm actually thinking I'm going to do one of these after each Maul release. So I think we'll be back here next Wednesday to talk about what we saw in episodes 3 and 4. If you guys are down for that, totally down for that. I think that's the plan. And then we'll keep going all the way through this Maul. Because Maul Shadow Lord's on. I'm a fan of animation, fan of Maul. I think it's like a proper month to just like, really go in. And then we'll end it off around like May the 4th, So I think this would be a good time. I'm down to do it if you guys are down to show up. So yeah. Next Wednesday, we'll be here again. 8. TVC Echo and Devon. Yes. Or Eco. They have the digital files for TBS Rook and Devon. They're probably the most likely. Yeah, I agree. Sometimes I'm curious if like that digital sculpt is really, like how does that seal the deal for us? I don't know because there's some digital sculpts and stuff they have for TBS which we've not seen. Client, Bad Batch, the list goes on. TBS, Dryden Boss. We finally got that Baze Malvis, huh? But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I don't think that's a guarantee, unfortunately, but I'm sure it helps. Nicodemus reminded me of a mobster in Batman. Yeah, there's a lot of Batman vibes in this for sure. Also, like Heat, which is one of my favorite movies. I know some people said it was similar in terms of like the vibes there. But yeah, I see a lot of Batman vibes as well. uh, poor Nico. He got turned into SpongeBob. Oh no. Weekly mall live stream sounds good. Awesome. Cool, man. Yeah, I'll be here. I'm down for it. I'm down for it. I'm so excited to see like episodes 3 and 4. I hope it like kind of ramps up a little bit. I imagine it's gonna. I imagine it's gonna. Hell yeah. Awesome, man. Always appreciate your support, sci-fi dude. Always appreciate that energy. Heat is literally one of the best movies of all time. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Absolutely love Heat. Absolutely love it. Yeah, Val. I mean, it's just less development time. If they already had them done for TBS, hasn't had to let them go to clearance already, we're more likely to get them. Yeah, that's true. I mean, they don't have to spend any design time really like crafting it from nothing. They just have to kind of like shrink it down, make sure the articulation works. So that does make sense in terms of, in terms of that. Also, I guess that's interesting to think about too, like the labor costs that go into the design aspect of it. So, is it helpful for TBC when they've already designed something for TBS because there's less overall design hours being spent on making the digital mold and like sculpt? Hmm, interesting. Interesting. I would love to know more about that process or like how do the numbers look when it comes to estimating costs? Peace and hair grease. Good stream tonight. Awesome. Thanks so much, Jeff Russell, for tuning in. Really appreciate all you guys for being here. I think it was a fun stream. It was very chill. We got to talk about Maul Shadow Lord a little bit. Well, quite a bit. Talk about the characters. I love showing off some of the stuff I've been working with you guys. Definitely would love to hear more about anything you guys are doing with your collections and stuff like that too. Maybe next time. So think about some stuff maybe you guys want to share in the chat, or if you have more questions in general, if you want to start like maybe diving into like diorama building or customizing stuff in general, just bring those questions, man. Always down to like help all y'all improve your collections or just get creative with it. They're making a prequel to Heat. I saw that and I was like, yes, let's go. I'm very here for that. 100%, it's more helpful resource wise if we don't have to eat the fruit, eat the full design cost. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. So yeah, Hasbro, go get some of those TBS sculpts and start shrinking them down because there's a lot of figures that they have that we want. All right. All right, guys. It's been a good time. I really appreciate all you guys being here. And you know what? I think I'm gonna go rewatch Maul Shadow Lord for the fifth time because it's awesome and it's time to unwind. So as always, appreciate you guys. If you haven't hit the like button down below, please do so. It always helps, the channel, it helps the streams. Really appreciate you guys. I'm going to try and get some like photos maybe out this weekend too and a couple more reviews. So be on the lookout for that stuff if you want to check it out. And as always, guys, appreciate you so much and may the force be with you. Later.